And he will throw. He's going for the bundle. He has Houston. Houston steps out of bounds. Houston inside Dallas territory to the 34-yard line, and I'll tell you, that's a gutsy call.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video, and welcome to the Gridiron. I've just been kind of noticing over the past couple of years, like the Giants, their special teams, kind of maybe slipping a little bit. Pro Football Focus here. Just want a little disclaimer here, right? In 2017, we were ranked the 32nd best special teams unit in the NFL in 2017. We were like a 48, the whole to the Giants special teams unit. Horrible. We got Thomas McGahee. This is his second stint with us. He was here with us from 2007 to 2010. After 2010, he went to LSU to help coach there. So sadly, well, I'm sure he loved the experience of coaching at LSU, but if you hung in for one more year with us, he would have won another Super Bowl ring. But he was here in 2007 when we won the Super Bowl. So 2017, we were horrible. And just to go show you how much of an improvement he made on this team, we got him in 2018, and we went from the 32nd best to number 2 in 1 year. And just going to show you where things are, the Jets in 2018 were number 1, according to Pro Football Focus. Their grade, okay? So we went from 32 to number 2 in 2018. Then in 2019, we went from 2 to number 12. Still not bad, but we took a step back. 2020, we went from number 12 to number 23. So we took another step back. It's not all, like a lost cause, because we're number 23. Okay? So just to go to show you it's not a lost cause, your season's a lost cause or whatever, if you're a special teams unit or like a top 5 or top 10 unit. I mean, last year, Tampa Bay was number 31. Oh, they won the Super Bowl. Green Bay, they were number 29. They were in the NFC Championship game. Tennessee, they had a pretty good year last year. They were number 28. And then the Kansas City Chiefs, they were in the Super Bowl. They were number 27. So all those teams were, graded worse than us, okay? And they went pretty far. So, I mean, all is not lost. But my point is that when you're 6-10 and you're trying to scrape and claw for every win you can possibly get, it's really important to have all three, the offense, defense, and special teams running on all cylinders. Very, very important. Like last year, we had a kickoff return against us for a touchdown. There weren't any punt returns, return for touchdowns on us, and we only had one block kick. One of our kicks was blocked last year. But however, we didn't block any kicks, and we didn't run anything back for a touchdown either. So we didn't really help our own cause. Now, you were kind of thinking when Joe Judge came in and took over, as head coach, he was special teams, and our special teams were pretty good. And Thomas McGahee's pretty good, I was kind of thinking, anyways, like, man, we're gonna be good this year, 2020, meaning special teams. I mean, we weren't absolutely dreadfully horrible by any stretch of the imagination, but we could have done better. So I was a little disappointed that we didn't get better than what we did. Now, you got to go both ways. Thomas McKay's not a Joe Judge guy because, he was here, from with Pat Shermer. And when Joe Judge came in, Joe Judge kept him. So he's not a Joe Judge guy. But the other thing is he's pretty good, and he knows what he's doing, knows what he's talking about, and all. So it's like if Joe Judge lets him go, because it's not his guy, and we maybe say this year we get a little bit worse, right? Who's he going to bring in? So that's a tough question there. The blame kind of goes gets spread around. Now, obviously, the couple years in the past, 2018, 2019, Alijah Rosas, kicking off, he had a strong leg. He was booming those babies into the end zone. A lot of times, there were a lot of touchbacks. So the other team started, deep in their own territory. Now with Graham Gano, his leg's not as strong. So it's you kind of weigh out the good with the bad. I mean, he kicked 31 out of 32 field goals last year. Actually, he missed more extra points. He missed 2 extra points, and he only missed 1 field goal. And the 1 field goal he missed was over 50 yards long. So he had a phenomenal field goal kicking season. So it's tough to, really knock him. But if he'd missed a few more field goals, our special team score probably would have gone down a little bit, and we may not have been 23rd. We might have been 24, 25, or even worse. So it's kind of tough to really knock Graham Gano. But, you get what you pay for. I mean, he doesn't have as strong of a leg. So one of the problems we had was on the kickoff returns, other teams were averaging 20.7 yards a return, which is not hugely horrible, but when they're averaging 20.7 or almost 21 yards a return, but if you only kick the ball to, say, the 5-yard line, 5-6 yard line, they're bringing out 21 yards. Now, instead of starting at the 25, now it's starting at the 27, maybe 28 or whatever. So that's, that's not good. Now, the Giants in 2018 and 2019 were like top 10 in kickoff coverage. 2019, they only gave up 18.1 yards a return. 2020, they gave up 20.7 yards a return. And I said the starting field position for the opposition after kickoff was at the 27.4 yard line, or basically the 27.5 yard line. But that was the third worst in all of football. So we got significantly worse than that. Our Pro Football Focus kickoff coverage grade was a 35.6. That was the second worst in all of football. Our, on the brighter side, our field goal, because of Graham Gano, had a good year, was his field goal grade was a 75.4, which was the 7th best in football. But our kickoff coverage is, needs to improve. Then you go to Riley Dixon. Okay, now he had a better year in 2019 than he did in 2020. 2019, his Pro Football Focus had him ranked as the number 14 punter. His Pro Football Focus grade was a 68. He averaged 46.1 yards on a punt. And his net average was 43.5. 2020, he went from a 46.1 yards on his punts down to a 44.8. He went down. And 2019, his net was a 43.5. 2020, his net was a 39.4. His net average went down 4 yards per punt. Not very good at all. In 2019, the yards per return on a Riley-Dixon punt was 5.7 yards. That was tied for 5th best. In 2020, it went from 5.7 up to 9.3 yards per return. It's horrible. It's horrible. Almost every time they returned the ball, they ran it back 10 yards. Not good at all. Not good at all. On his punting, there's no big significant difference here. I mean, 2019, his punts inside the 20-yard line, he had 32. In 2020, his punts inside the 20 it was only 28, so it went down a few. His touchbacks on his punts in 2019 only had 2. Last year's touchbacks, he had 6. Quite a significant amount. So we got our kickoff return team. We had Dion Lewis. All right, he was not too good. His shall I say, our Pro Football Focus kick return grade was a 55.4. Not very good at all. And Dion Lewis was not here anymore. Maybe Kadarius Toney, maybe. Dion Lewis isn't with us anymore. He had 24 returns for us last year. All right, so he's not with us no more. So hopefully we can only get better from there. Our punt return was pretty good. My man Jabrill Peppers. Oh boy, I hope we re-sign that guy. His Pro Football Focus punt return grade was a 72.1. He returned 15 punts for 187 yards. It's for a 12.5-yard average. Very impressive. Very, very impressive. So he certainly helped us. But our kickoff coverage is not good. Our kickoff return is not good. Our punting is not good. Our punt coverage and all that, and Riley Dixon, his numbers went down from 2019. 2019, he had a much better year than he did in 2020. So the blame goes around. Now then, there's also some guys that are kind of like on the bubble or whatever, and the only way they're going to make the team is they gotta be good in special teams. Now, like Tay Crowder, he was pretty good when he was on defense. Okay, but if we start bringing in linebackers and the linebacker room starts getting a little crowded, Tay Crowder's got to do well on special teams. Well, last year he was a 46.1 on special teams. That's not going to get it done. I mean, this is how some of these guys are just going to make the team. And being a 46.1 on special teams is not going to cut it. Then you got, Lord knows how many wide receivers we got. You got Austin Mack and C.J. Board trying to make the team. I mean, the wide receiver room is very crowded. And Austin Mack and C.J. Board, the only way they're going to make the team is by special teams. Well, last year, Austin Mack was a 40.7 on special teams. That's not going to cut it. Austin Mack was a 47. I'm sorry. C.J. Board was a 47. That's not going to cut it. Right? And then we got 8 tight ends. All right? Levine Toil Olu, all right, last year was a 49.1 on special teams. That's not good, especially if you're trying to make the team. I mean, we got a lot of tight ends. And then Caden Smith, right? I like him, but he was a 53.8 on special teams. That's not going to cut it. You got to get better than that. Especially if the only way you can make the teams is you gotta ball out on special teams. Then these guys are not doing it. I mean, as soon as we find somebody who going to get a little bit better than them on special teams, we're going to keep the person who does well, and we're going to say bye-bye to Caden Smith, sadly, or Austin Mack, or C.J. Board, or Tay Crowder, or Levine Toilolu. These guys gotta step up. It's it's a big year for it's like Will Hernandez, Lorenzo Carter. Hopefully we sign Jabrill Peppers. Some of these guys, they're on their last year. Like like Hill and McIntosh, you know, these guys that are on their contract years, huge years for them. But these other guys just trying to make the team. They got to get better at special teams. And when you're 6-10 and you're just trying to get to maybe 500 or maybe 9-8 and try to battle to win the NFC East, you got to have your offense, your defense, and your special teams running on all cylinders. It's so important. Well, as always, people, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!